Welcome back. I trust again you were able to utilise this break to just reflect on some of the components we spoke about. Let's look at section 3, segment 3, chapter 3. And that's, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, the power of vocabulary. You know, to really understand communication, we've got to look at the words we tend to use. Think of the words that we tend to use, I guess, on a daily basis, sometimes in the way we write or even the way we speak. Occasionally we'll call people an idiot, stupid. We use words like it's going to cost you. What we tend to look at is how do you replace those words with more edifying and encouraging and inspiring words like precious, special, transfer cost to investment. Oh, that's a bit of a cliche. Think about it. If it's going to cost you, it's almost like I've got my hand in your pocket. If it's going to be an investment, that means that there's a dividend, there's a return. So when we think about communication, we also remind clients of the importance of the power of words. I find it amazing, particularly in media, where an advertising campaign's put together and it says, don't miss out. Don't's a negative word. Miss, okay, will, out. Really what we should be saying is take action today, call now, reserve your seat, whatever. So we need to be careful of the words that we choose to use and ask people to take a positive action. Remember I told you how I got married within 2 weeks? True. I'm here to report today that we've been married now nearly 15 years. Has it always been a joyride? No. In fact, would I condone getting married within 2 weeks of knowing somebody? No way. Given my time back again, I'd probably do a little bit more research, as I'm sure my wife would. And you know, it's interesting, after a few years of marriage, my wife called me into the lounge room. She said, I want a divorce. I said, okay. I guess I'd had an interesting and troubled childhood, and I tended to grow up fairly much hardened, and self-preservation was always the first key scenario in that stage of my life. So I said, fine. She said, well, do you want to know what the challenge is? I said, what's the challenge? She said, you love the business. She said, I have a solution. I said, what is it? She said, we have marriage counselling. I said, you can go. No, she said, we. And I saw this as a great flaw in my life, to have to go and bare my soul and my problems with this third party. And I thought the odds were stacked even more when I realised it was a female counsellor. But nevertheless, I went. She put my wife in one room. She put me in another. She spent an inordinate amount of time with my wife. She came into the room where I was and she said, I fixed the problem. I said, good, what is it? She said, you're the problem. I said, that's a rather sweeping statement. You don't know me. She said, but I do, Gary, intimately. You're no different to everybody else. It's always everybody else's fault. If only my parents had given me a better break. If only my company gave me more money. If only everybody understood me more and made my life easier, I'd be happy. She looked at me and she said, you, that's me, clean up your own backyard and worry about what you need to do, and as a consequence, things around you will change. And that was true. Anyway, we started to work on our marriage and things improved, and about a year after this, my wife called another meeting in our lounge room, a profound place, and she said, it was a Sunday, there's something wrong. I said, what is it? She said, there's no noise. I said, well, put the stereo on. She said, no, I want to hear pitter-patter of feet. So you see, I probably wasn't a particularly good listener in those days. It took me a few seconds to understand what she was saying. Anyway, the good news is we were blessed with our first child, Daniel, who's now 7 and getting close to 8. And as a subsequent to that, our daughter Alexandra and another daughter Philippa. And one of the things that I remembered, and I have been able to keep this, is the importance of edification. And as I left the hospital and saw my first son, or Daniel, born, I remember the elation, the excitement, the wonder of just seeing this miracle, this God-given beauty that we all have the opportunity of either having or being as a consequence of living. And as I left the hospital, I thought, what can I do to make a difference to this child's life? And the thing that my wife and I agreed and vowed to and we've kept is the importance of telling them every day, either physically or if I'm away by phone, how special and precious they are. Have I told you recently how much I love you? He says, Dad, you tell me 5 times a day, then remind me to do it more often. Have I told you recently what a special person you are and how you can make a difference in life? Now, you might sit there, fold your arms, or if you watch this around and go, what a load of mush. I say, yeah, and think of the alternatives. You're an idiot. You'll never amount to anything. And the consequences of that and how that can have a ramification. When I was a little boy and there was an exchange between Australia and England, my parents split up, I was tossed and to and fro, not martyring. But I grew up a little bit confused. And I did something on one particular day, I may have been 7 years of age, I don't remember or recall exactly how old. And as a consequence of that, I got caught and I got earmarked as a naughty boy. And this particular teacher caught me. She became my teacher for the next couple of years, and when we went outside in the playground to play rounders, if the ball came to me, she'd shout out, Schuller, Butterfingers, so the ball would drop. The self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, I think back to that, and it really did have a big burden on the way I responded. And as a consequence of that, I was actually sent to a school for naughty children. And at the age of 12, I thought, well,